Oh, we're going to talk about scary stories to tell in the dark,
Nice.
which I had no previous relationship to this stuff because, weird enough, I actually never read any of these books, but you did.
Yeah.
You were scared shitless by some of these stories.
Ago, so I
Yeah.
don't remember a lot of the specific details.
But this is based on a bunch of children's stories that were particularly horrifying for, it sounds like, a generation of children.
And especially because of the grimy illustrations that these came with.
Right.
I think that's really what people focus on when it comes to the nostalgia of it.
Yeah.
I would argue that a lot of people
the design
don't
work.
remember the specific stories as much as they remember the illustrations that came with them.
Right.
Because those are the things that when you closed your eyes when you were 10 that you were like, why am I seeing this? I should not have bought this book. Mom, what are you doing? You know, that kind of thing. And what I will say about the film is that all the horror aspects for me worked really well. Anytime that there's like a death or just something scary happening, I thought it was tense. I thought it was
like
visually
it entered
stunning.
the realm of an actual scary short story, like where Harold comes out in the
I thought all those those moments
the pale
were great.
lady in the hospital.
Like when I'm watching this kid turn into a scarecrow, and he not only is it like, you know, you're seeing his fingernails turn into straw or hay or whatever, but the moment where his neck comes up, like he lifts his head and then hay just starts to be forced out of his mouth and like his eyes and stuff, I was like, this is some extreme horror shit. Actually,
for kids,
I can't
especially
believe
because again, it's not gory, but it's creepy.
It's aggressive. Yeah. And there's a few moments like that. What's his name? Like the Jangly Man or something like that.
I loved the Jangly Man.
He was great. He had some especially good moments when he's kind of like he's squeezing through these metal. It's the jail cell.
The jail cell. Yeah, no, it reminded me of that bit in Split when James McAvoy tries to like bend the bars there.
Yeah, and he's like screaming coward at him and stuff.
Trying to get inside.
All those moments worked well for me. What didn't work well for me was all the like narrative stuff. And I don't think none of the kids were bad. I thought they were actually pretty good. It's just I felt it was really cheesy when it came to the writing.
Yeah.
Like for fuck's sakes, we have a line that's like, "You don't read the book reads you," and you're just like, dude, like. No, come on, man.
Yeah, come on.
You knew there's no fucking way that the writer was like, that's some deep good shit. That's the most cliche kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like parodies make fun of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I literally leaned over to you, and for the first time in like 10 years, like since high school probably, I thought of the Soviet Russia, like I guess it was one of the original memes back in the day, where it was like, in Soviet Russia, the book reads you.
Yeah, the car drives you. Yeah.
Like I literally leaned over and said that to you while we were watching the movie. Like that's how. Like I definitely agree
so
with
obvious
you.
Right there. You know? It's just and to be honest, that's one of the more specific ones I can think of. But the rest of that kind of those moments, the dialogues between the kids have a lot of that, and then it's kind of just them figuring out the past. You know, that whole thing where they go to the library and they look at news articles and they go, "Oh, this ghost was this person and this is their quarrel with the world," and you know, it just. To me, it was like I've seen this 1,000 fucking times.
Yeah, this is definitely a movie written by like children's animation film writers. Like it was written by guys who worked on the Lego Movie and Hotel Transylvania and the Lego Ninjago movie.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, there you go.
So like they wrote this movie and yeah, it does feel like they're mostly just loosely trying to fit. And I will be honest, I do think that on a plot level, they actually don't do a bad job of connecting all of this into like a story that makes sense.
I agree with that, but it also reminded me a bit too much of the Goosebumps movie that came out.
I haven't seen the Goosebumps movies.
And that's essentially what it is.
It's the same thing, though. They just tie the stories together. In,
and then all his stories get unleashed into the world, and then they deal with them. And I'm like,
so
well, that's pretty much what happened here. Except with this one, they mix it. It's kind of like they mix
the horror is just more horror
with Goosebumps in this one because they're like because the characters that they deal with in the movie are things that they were it was like the most scary story that they were told as a kid for them.
Right.
So that's what comes after them. So you have a mix of like your greatest fear, which is like the it thing, And then you have the Goosebumps thing, which is the stories that are coming to life. And then they slap
So yeah,
them
it actually
together.
is an exact mix of those two things.
Yeah.
I can see the pitch meeting right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of saw that a little bit. And I don't know if I'm, maybe I'm just full of shit, but I do think that that's what they were doing a little bit.
Right.
Although I will agree with you that it still works. It's still cohesive narratively. It's just...
Right.
I've seen it before, like 1,000 times. So every horror beat, I was on board. I'm like, that scene with the kid being squished by the weird,
lady.
creepy pale lady or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
that was pretty effective. And all those moments are great. It's just the in-between I wasn't interested
the kind
in.
of lanky big toe guy walking through the thing.
God.